turning inside out. Beautiful move. Trying to get the shot on. He holds. He shoots. He scores! Absolutely.
The pitch. High fly ball center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Goal!
Roethlisberger gives him a lot of room here. Juju Smith-Schuster off to the races inside the 30, the 20, the 10.
Welcome to another live edition of the Pittsburgh Sportsline TV show in the Bethel Park studios, right here at BPTV Studio in Bethel Park. Thank you for watching our shows only on Comcast 7, right here in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, and all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. And we get a lot of great feedback. We appreciate it. Thanks for our likes on Pittsburgh Sportsline Facebook. If you haven't, I got my smartphone. I can check it out. 6933.
Yeah.
We're getting up there. We're trying to get 7,000. Ran into a couple friends in the last week, new friends. And Nick, they were young like you.
Oh, yeah?
One lady and one gentleman. He was from Aruba, and she was from Long Island, New York. I met him at a Jessica Lee show. And of course, I had to talk about Pittsburgh Sportsline a little bit. But that's what we do. Al Levine, the talking machine, Smoking Jim Frazier, and Chip Hayner cannot be here due to some issues that he has. And we have Nick going from here to there. Nick Callis is sitting in Chip's seat. We've got a lot of great sports to talk about. We got some fun things to discuss. We're going to try to do a little better than last week, because for some reason we went off the rails, and usually I moderate, but I could only disclaim so many things with Smoking Jim, and then Chip was adding into it, so I let them both go for about 35, 40 minutes, and we cut out some of our segments, because we were so deep in we weren't really talking Bitcoin.
We couldn't even get to the most important positions.
Yes. I understand. So today we're going to be much better. Let me pull out my promos, and we'll start right now with, we got A2 on camera. By himself here. Let's see what he does. We'll see how this looks with the, look at the red polo in the background. Olive Oil's Pizzeria, Hillcrest Shopping Center, can't miss it. 412-831-1900. Frank Panera owns it. I met his other son, Frankie. He's up there. Fabrizio is his other son. He's younger. And they made our pizzas, made our hoagie, had a good conversation up there. Met a new guy named Curtis in Bethel Park. Told him I'd do a show, handed him my card. He said thanks and good luck. So Curtis, if you're watching, enjoy that pizza. He had 2 boxes of pizza, so probably some kids too. But they have great Italian food, great conversations. Many fans of Pittsburgh Sportsline are there. So thanks for supporting our local business here in Bethel Park. All right, next up, I help promote Always Be Smiling. And I want to thank all of you. We're at like 847 likes. We boosted it up from 680. So if you can like this page, they're great people helping people with kidney disease like I had, for families, young kids. When they get the call that they get a transplant, they have to up and leave everything. They're paying for their hotels and rooms and transportation until they get their kidney. So they're doing great things. Kristen and Dean are the ones who founded it. They founded it December 11th after their son, B. Always Be Smiling is named after Bennett. He had 2 kidney transplants. His dad, Dean, gave him one, and he lived to be 16 and a half. He had other disabilities, and he died at 16 and a half, and they're honoring him with Always Be Smiling. And thank you for the likes that you're giving, and if you can give one more, please help us out. Thank you. All right, here we go. A2, so far so good. Here's the third one. Look at this. Wow. Joey Favis before DIPG, the dreaded brain cancer that killed him, and then after the DIPG, he died at 8 years old, just before his 9th birthday, and they started the Joey Favis Childhood Cancer Foundation. His dad just messaged me, we gotta have some tea, some green tea, and have a little conversation. So I can't wait to see Dave soon, and he said to say hi to Smokin' Jim. And they do a lot of great events. They've raised over $100,000, and they've given it to Dr. Gary at Children's Hospital, and they're trying to find some way to help and maybe even a cure for DIPG. And Dr. Gary told me he's optimistic the next year or two they're going to get something that'll be viable to help these kids. All right, there's another one. Let's see what A2 can do. He's on fire, folks. There it is. Oh. 2600 South Park Road, red trolley. You've heard me tell you about it. I remember riding those red trolleys from Dormont to downtown. Check it out. They got many different businesses there. It's a 1905 schoolhouse, been remodeled. There's even an auditorium room that's sponsored by the Bethel Park Community Foundation, who I'll talk a little bit about later. And they do great different things. They have an artist there. They have a dance studio there. And they got a nice library, military uniforms going back. All the school books from Bethel Park High School, they go back there. And my favorite tea place, Reginald's Coffee. First, they have worldwide green coffee that they roast on their roaster right in their place. And it's friends of mine, 20, 30, 40 friends, have told me each week it's better than Starbucks. So support our local business there. Matt and Julie are just the best. They still have their skeletons up for Halloween. They're letting it linger a little bit, I guess, before the Christmas decorations go up. So check it out. If you can stop in there, get your coffee. They have Wi-Fi, Smokin' Jim, so you can get coffee and Wi-Fi. All right. This lady, Kathleen Miller, her kidney function's 16%. We've been promoting her all year. I'm glad that we could. She's been taking a little break, and you know, I want to go to lunch with her someday just to meet her. She's such a nice person, watches our show, so hello, Kathleen. She has a kidney donor, but she's not sick enough to get a transplant. She has to get down to 15% like I was, and she's got a living donor, and that helps so much better, and that's how I'm doing so well, because of my living donor, Drew. So, you know, thank you for sending out to her, and she thinks possibly somebody watching the show is donating a kidney, so we appreciate the compliments. Next up, we got a local business, Senior Helpers of Southwest PA, right here at 100 Broughton Road. That's right up near the Walgreens, catty corner. Smokin' Jim, look that up in your Funkin' Wagners. Catty corner. Nick on the side can explain what catty corner is. But they're right there. Talk to Jeff, 412-851-3223. Great brand new remodeled building, great office they have there. Jeff's just a great guy. And tell him that you have yourself may need help. Family, friends, mother, aunt, uncle, grandparents. We're all getting older. Even Smokin' Jim's never been this old before. We don't know how old officially. Anywhere between 35 and 90. Pick your number. And I'm just kidding. Again, give them a call. They even help veterans too. I wanted to bring that up because I've switched their flyers up a few times, but they're just a great place, doing great things in the area. 412-851-3223. Tell them Al Levine, the talking machine, said give him a call. All right, A2, here we go. He's undefeated. Look at this one. Oh. BPCF, Bethel Park Community Foundation, has grant money for you, not Smokin' Jim. $100 to $5,000. They have money they can give for you. We've given out $1 million in 25 years, usually around $100,000 or more to give out. So just contact bpcf.org. And don't forget the Bethel Bounty is on Sunday at 5 o'clock at Crown Plaza. The tickets are only $50, and Smokin' Jim, you can eat side by side with me at 25 different places. There's all kind of different caterers there. Save those Buckeyes from Bethel Bakery. Nice little chocolate treat, Smokin' Jim. I was talked about it last week. Count me in on a few, maybe more than a few.
When is it?
Sunday.
Sunday, I might come out.
Sunday night. Well, you got to get a ticket, and you won't go online. The only thing you went online is somebody told you you'd be a millionaire owning Bitcoins, and now he's broke.
I'm on my way.
He's on his way. Like, here's an example. If you have $1, now he has $1.25. I rest my case. But congratulations, Smokin' Jim.
Thank you, sir.
You owned a part of a Bitcoin. And let's see what Anthony got on this. He got us hooked up again. Look at this. We're on fire. I want tell them Uncle Al wants you for BPTV. 412-831-3304. Look at the fun we have. Too much last week, a little less this week. We got Nick Callis here. We got A2. We got A1. We got Ryan in there. Smokin' Jim says he's the best editor because he took editing classes at PCTV.
Yay!
And between you and me, he said he graduated. I don't believe it. I've seen him in action. And it's a struggle. But check it out. Look at how he made fun of me, and I don't mind. We can have a little fun. All right, now we got the test for A2. We're coming up. Little drum roll. All right, let's see what he can do. Let's see, little.
There it is.
Unbelievable, 6103 Library Road, Skeets Service Station, owned by Skeets Lewandowski. Smokin' Jim. Skeets gave me a call today. He goes, you guys gonna be at the fights? I said, we're filming and announcing. He goes, I got my little boxer chicken, Hyro. He's boxing. Some tough guy from Cleveland again.
Oh, no.
So who knows who he's in with? He said he's fearless.
Wow.
And he's a great young fighter. He takes on all comers. He's unusual in this modern era. Usually they skip guys that are tougher than them and bigger than them and won more awards than them.
That's true.
But not Hyro. Give a call at 724-348-4715. I just wanted to tell you that A2 is trying to make this look even better. And I'm only shaking a little now. Look at that. He kicked that up a notch.
Still in the frame?
He might be our BPTV cameraman of the day.
Yeah.
Smokin' Jim has steel beauties of the, we don't know what it is, but they're steel beauties of the whatever. We got the cameraman, and he's the only cameraman in here, like your only child, that's your favorite child. He's it today.
Got the swag. All white outfit. Woo!
How did he do it?
Hot stuff.
Well, Skeet sponsors What's on Your Mind. Smokin' Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
I'm Cam.
Oh, white quarterback.
Interception.
I'm Cam Hayward. Yeah.
That was a nice grab. and since you did that,
Out of nowhere.
Timeout.
that was a nice
This was a
interception.
Pittsburgh Sportsline first. Never did I throw an interception in 10 years.
This is first one.
10 years. This is my 501st show on Tuesday nights in a row.
Kenny
And it's the
Pickett.
first time, 501
Kenny
shows,
Pickett?
no interceptions.
One interception.
I thought
it-
I thought it was fitting because of Cam Hayward this week. Came out of
Yeah,
nowhere with that
good job.
interception
That was
last
beautiful.
night.
We'll
Remember?
We'll talk about that at the end of the night if we have time.
Yes, sir.
But
Let's go Steelers.
since you intercepted that, I want to intercept your press release. It's a great, great job that you did. But hey, Al Levine, the talking machine.
Yes.
And Nick may be able to help me. I know Tony can probably help me. Brother, what happened in downtown Pittsburgh or at least on the north side on Sunday?
I don't
It
know.
saved me about $5,000. I couldn't get to the casino. Man, I had money. I was going to put on Buffalo. I'd have lost there. I had heavy money I was going to put on Dallas. And then I was going to lay out. The Los Angeles Rams. I was going to put it all. So whatever, they had it all blocked off. I couldn't get to the casino. I don't know if it was a marathon that day or whatever. But I tell you what, I've never been so happy, Al Levine, the talking machine, because I would have lost big time, because that was a can't miss. All three of those were can't miss wins.
Did you expect the Browns to win?
Yeah. Oh, you know that Baker Mayfield's best quarterback in football. But anyhow.
Timeout disclaimer. Tony, this is for you at Chick-fil-A. This is what a true disclaimer on Bethel Park TV. The opinions of Smokin' Jim are not what the station projects on it.
But I tell you what.
Just have to share that. It's not an official opinion of the BPTV studio. Nor do I endorse it.
I know we're going to talk about this later. I'm just going to go real quick. I am so proud of the Pittsburgh Steelers because I tell you what, that was old school. The Chicago Bears had half their defense injured, but the defense they had out there was popping, man. I mean, it was old school. They was chipping away at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they never, they never buckled up. And I tell you what, that Raekwon Smith, the number 58 for Chicago Bears, that's a middle linebacker right there.
He was a beast.
Yeah. He's put you in the mind of a young Mike Singletary. But hey, Al Levine, the talking machine, and I'll get off of it after this.
No, go ahead.
Listen, they got to do something with our young center. You play center, Al, when you play football. You cannot get knocked 5 yards back in the backfield.
No, more than that.
More than that. I don't know if it's a leverage problem. I don't know if it's an inexperience problem. He never played center before, but
he was a center in college.
No, he was guard. He
Oh,
was
okay.
offensive guard in college.
I thought he played a little bit.
No, he filled in one game when the center got hurt. Something like Dermontti Dawson.
Okay.
Dermontti Dawson was a guard in college as well and got converted. So there's no problem. Maybe he'll be good, but right now the center is hurting us. And I tell you what, if he was black, number 88, Fairmouth would be getting. He should be getting 10. Nobody can cover him. Why don't they throw it to him more? Al Levine, the talking machine. Listen, he's.
Hold it. Time out. They don't have time.
Huh? They don't have the time to throw to him?
No. Do you understand the line, like you're alluding to?
Yes.
When Najee Harris ran a few times,
Yeah.
there was no hole.
He running into a brick wall.
They were
22
2
times.
yards in the backfield, and you asked me about being a center. That's disgraceful.
Yes.
They're in the backfield
Yes.
as the running back gets the ball. That's why they don't have time to make those passes. That's why his release is as fast as in his career. They're not getting better well enough.
And what did I say about the guy on draft day? I said he could end up being the best tight end in the history of the game because the way, not only does he get open, not only can he torque his body in a certain way, and he got great hands, and it's reminiscent to the old 88 Lynn Swann. He reminds you a little bit of Lynn Swann.
No, not
Hopefully
really.
he's not phony as Lynn Swann.
No. Lynn Swann is just another disclaimer. His opinions are nothing that we agree with, nor can even listen to, because it's just a straight up opinion that's against the guy he doesn't like.
Does Lynn Swann still have your woman?
Well, Nick, thank you for bringing that up. I was just going to say, Smokin' Jim.
Oh, you're just going out with Lynn on by the way. Who's
And that's it.
All right, are you done?
I'm done.
Thank you, Nick. You can move on.
All right, well.
Nick Callis, he's not the grandson of Harry Callis
No.
of baseball announcing fame. I wanted to announce that. It came out on The Fan that he isn't a relative to him.
Wow.
And Smokin' Jim doesn't know who Harry Callis is.
Well, he spells his name with a U.S., right? Or A.S.
And with a K, it's just all
K.
not the same as mine.
Yeah,
That's what I
at least you understand that. But you don't realize the reference in baseball to how great he was.
That's the nickname they gave me at the Fan, Harry Callis.
Was he black?
No.
See, that's how Smokin' Jim doesn't know baseball. All right, Nick, we're going to carry on and good luck in sitting next to Smoking Jim.
I enjoy being on this side every once in a while, so it's fine. What's on my mind? First of all, next week I'll be celebrating a year at BPTV. How about that? Some of it might be wearing this shirt again or the new ones, but I'm celebrating BPTV. Don't know where I'd be if I hadn't met Smoking Jim and all the wonderful people here, Al Levine at BPTV. So
Thank you.
I'll be going into the whole thing next week. But yeah, excited and reminiscing about the year since it's already been a year. I think it's crazy.
That went so fast.
It
Nick.
did go so fast.
I remember when you refused to sit in the seat to replace Smoking Jim.
That was January. That wasn't November.
I just said I remember that because
Yeah.
I'm old and I'm reminiscing.
I'm ashamed of myself. I was just like, man, what am I going to talk about? I'm so scared. Anyway, but no, it's on my mind. So I'm also reminiscing about years past. And 10 years ago this month was the first time I ever stepped on a wrestling mat and wrestled. I was in 7th grade. I was 12 years old. So and I was thinking about that too. We talk about sports here on Sportsline, and wrestling
we do.
wrestling hasn't come up yet. I don't think. And I just want to talk about I'm advocating
Hold
for
it.
the
Nick, I just got to share this. We had a KSWA ring announcer and promoter, Tom Liturgy, Trapper Tom, on our show as a guest numerous times. And we even saw wrestling, I think in Oakland or something. I went to Smoking Jim and I went there.
Oh
We
yeah.
saw it. Yeah, so we have addressed wrestling. We even had like Mr. Mystery and some other guys on. I forget some of them. They were supposed to be all like 335 pounds. And just so you know, they weren't. They were all smaller. But
Well,
we
I know,
did
and
have wrestling for a couple years.
Very nice. Well, I
So
just,
you're an addendum to that.
right, I haven't been here, so I understand. That's why I
I
said.
had to give you the
that's why-
clarification.
that's why I said I don't think so, because
Now you know.
Now I know. But yeah, I like to advocate for the sport of wrestling because I fell into the sport by accident. I knew I wasn't good enough to play basketball, and I was like, oh, pretty big, pretty strong guy. Why not try it out? It kicked my butt all the way through the practices, but it helped me be a better athlete in other sports and pay more attention to it. Not the WWE stuff. I mean, like traditional mat wrestling with the singlets and the rolling around on the mat. But I just wanted to advocate for the sport since I'm thinking about it because you don't hear it very often. But go watch a high school match. Go check it out in the Winter Olympics coming up in 2022. But wrestling, very good sport. Have some respect for it. That's what's on my mind.
Well, go
What's
ahead,
up?
Smoke.
Every Monday I take Monday Night Raw.
That's not the same thing.
SmackDown on Friday.
Still not the same thing.
Tuesday night.
Not
And
the
in
wrestling
my
I'm talking about.
opinion,
Not
it's
the-
my opinion.
not the wrestling I'm talking
I love
about.
your wrestling, but you took a shot at my favorite sport,
What sport was that?
wrestling. You took a shot at it.
It isn't.
When they throw somebody through a table, slam them through a table. That's
Smoking Jim, if you got hit with a steel chair, you'd be dead. That's just the reality of the situation. Steel is a very
you don't watch
stubborn
it,
metal.
So how do you know?
I have seen it, and I'm like, no, they're not falling from.
Kurt Angle was a friend of the show.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. How about this? I'm at a show with Jessica Lee,
Okay.
Cadence Clubhouse in North Park. And I talk to everybody, right?
Yeah.
And I'm promoting her show and, telling about it. And then, of course, I got to talk about Sportsline and stuff. And I meet a nice lady and a nice gentleman there, younger than me, of course. And I go, I went to Keystone Oaks. And I also went to school with a Mark Angle who was famous in Dormont. And I go, his brother Kurt, he learned the mannerisms and things from his older brother Mark. Well, the lady goes, we graduated with Kurt Angle. And her husband goes, we met at Kurt Angle's apartment.
Really?
And I go, you're kidding me. And we were talking for a little bit and different things like that. And he goes, did you know his brothers? I said, yeah, I even knew his sister that passed away young. So I knew the family very well. And I said, I used to arm wrestle Mark in 8th grade, and once in a while I might beat him. By freshman year, he would go. Mark Angle was a beast. He was the strongest guy in Dormont. He was all-conference defensive tackle his senior year.
Wow.
We had 4 all-conference guys, even though we're KO. This is a shout-out to Bill Means. I told you about, he gave me his book, Crazy Train, and he's driving. I'm in the last 100 pages, Bill. He's watching the show, so
Wow.
thank you for the book. what a story he wrote about his family and his career and his football careers. I had heard about him, and he was one of the toughest guys. But how about me meeting somebody that knew Kurt Angle and North Park?
What's the chance?
And they went to school with them.
Chance? Small world.
And that's why I say I talk to everybody, because you never know how we're connected. So there's a little wrestling cornucopia of stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
That's what's on my mind. I'm good.
well, I'll end that because Smoking Jim likes to put these points out. I'll put one out. I wrestled in 8th grade for 1 year.
That I didn't know.
I didn't know that.
Well, I figured I'd share that. And I always liked to eat, so I didn't want to have to cut weight. So I only played 1 year, and then I started my football career officially as a freshman the next year at KO when we went to the high school.
And believe it or not, I know how to throw those wrestling trainings and drills. I know how to cut weight. I was real slender from like
I seen that.
6th to 10th
seen
grade.
the
I was
tape.
pretty
I seen the tape on it.
Yeah, I saw that too that you showed. Yeah.
great sport.
Thank you very much, and that adds to our wrestling repertoire. And I'm glad I could add a couple recent stories to that. And one way back in 8th grade at Jane F. Middle School. That's how far back it is.
That's what it was called back then.
Yes.
I was just Keystone Heights Middle School.
Yeah.
All times have changed.
Well, that was it was the old high school in Dormont, and it became Jane F. Middle School. And then now they took that land on the campus and built the middle school right there.
Yep.
And that's the story. And then they made the football field better. We used to have rocks that you had to take out of your hands and knees because the rock field that we practice on.
Was it right by the school?
Yes.
That was the game field before they built Dormont Stadium?
No, Dormont Stadium was around for 50, 60 years.
But you just practiced on.
We practiced across
So
where
you
the
and I
track
practiced
is.
on the same field. That's awesome.
No,
Small world, cousin.
no, you're missing it. Dormont Stadium, we didn't practice there. Where the high school is in the track.
No, I know. So we practiced on that field too. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we still
would
practice there.
Yeah, we practiced there when it was rock.
I was.
And-
it was
and
only
it was a
rock before they
cinder-
were.
It was a cinder track. We'd
Oh.
get cut up there. It was terrible.
Oh well, I guess it wasn't exactly the same. Same place, different.
And then the big hills were there. They'd make you run hills and stuff.
They use it for cross country.
Yeah, it was a whole different era. Sorry to reminisce, folks, but if you're at KO, you know some of that's true. So, what's on my mind? I don't want to talk Steelers. Oh, yes, I do. My dad was a referee in basketball, and he knew the rule book. And it was so embarrassing watching the game with the calls and the different penalties that I saw. Half of them, as a Steeler fan, I know we would have been throwing stuff at our TVs if they were called on us. And I still don't know about that taunting call when it was critical, when a guy made a great sack on Big Ben. And he was still on his side of the field, 30, 40 yards away from the Steeler bench. Now, I don't know, he celebrated 3 different times, but I just thought that was an odd penalty. And at least half, what was there, like 14 penalties against this,
It was like 120 yards worth of
yeah,
penalties against the Bears.
I saw that. So to me, I was shocked by that. I was thinking my dad's looking down, and he wasn't a football referee, but he'd go, what's the rule book say? He'd have been saying, what are the rules?
Do you think the referee hip checked
Yes.
Cassius? Yeah.
Well, when you're standing straight and you step back a little bit or put your butt out a little bit and the guy hits into you, how would that happen if he stayed right where he was with being still?
I agree with you.
I'm just saying that we lost something in society. It's called common sense. And I go, if it doesn't look right, it's not right. And there's problems with the game. I go all the way up to Goodell and how he runs the NFL. But when you make all the billions that they do, not to be judgmental, because I don't care if you make money, but when you have 32 billionaires, it might be a little swayed in how you operate. Just saying. All right, we'll be back. Go ahead, Smokey. You got that in quick.
I just got to say, just saying, I agree with the referees in terms of the taunting. I've always said, I don't like white guys that act black. You know what I mean? I mean, he had no choice. Being named Cassius as a child, he was going to be cocky. Listen,
it, Smoking Jim. Let me explain some history.
you knew of
The
Mike
grandfather,
Cassius?
yeah, Cassius Clay's grandfather was named Cassius Clay.
I didn't know that. But
Well,
if
you say I know a lot about black people,
Yeah, you do.
and that's where he got his name from.
If you name Cassius and you white, you know you're cocky.
Well,
Listen,
Smoking Jim.
Oh, Smoking
No.
all I can say is this: I would have hit him because. Listen,
What did he
Wait, I'm
do?
sorry. You would have
he
hit.
ran 15 yards towards the Steeler bench. He used to play for the Steelers. They just cut him a month ago, and that's taunting. He ain't got no. Let's get to your own bench.
When Cam Hayward got that
can't do-
interception,
I
and
don't
all-
like that.
and the whole team just had to run to the
Goodell
end zone.
allows that. I don't like that. I hate that. I hate that.
So an individual
That's a
versus
black thing, and I don't like it.
an individual versus a group is different.
But I would have hit him for taunting.
No. Okay.
Matter of fact, if I was the coach, if I was the coach for Chicago, you see all the tattoos, I'd have cut him, dropped him off on the south side, and made his tattoo artist take him to the airport. He wouldn't be on my team anymore. He had no business doing it. It cost him the game, and I agree. I back the referees on that one.
Smoking Jim, I couldn't disagree with you more because he was only about 10 yards from his sideline.
Don't you agree?
He was only
No, he was
about
about the Steelers.
he wasn't.
Yes.
He was still on Chicago's half of the field. How
But
do
he
you-
ran 15 yards towards the Steelers.
Well,
and
how
started
wide's the-
gyrating.
Hold it. How wide is a field? Can you tell me it's 53?
Are you certain you used the word gyrating correctly?
I don't know.
We're dealing with some things that Smoking Jim.
But you agree with me, don't
No,
you?
I don't.
Don't
Oh,
you hate
no.
white guys that act black?
No,
Be yourself.
no, Smoking Jim.
He
And,
needs to be thrown off the league.
and I just have to share with some of our fans, Smoking Jim's not racist. He just sees these things. And we don't see exactly what he sees, nor do we see eye to eye on what he's talking about. Because
You agree with me, don't you? No.
Cassius, I told him straight up, Cassius was on a way you couldn't even hear what he was saying if you were on the Steelers sideline. Not at all. So how was that taunting? If he said it to a player and pushed him, I'd say he's taunting.
No, let me tell you.
He ran towards the bench and looked at the bench.
I'll give
wasn't
you.
even close
I'll give
to
you a
the
good
bench.
example of taunting. One time we got scored on a KO, the JV game, and the kid
Only
who scored
once?
the kid who scored
Only once?
kid who scored a touchdown took the football, planted on the ground, took 1 foot to the football, and did an eagle wings. That's taunting.
Yeah.
Well, so
Yeah.
what happened
So-
in the Steeler game was
and
not
so
taunting.
Cassius. So was
No, he
Cassius.
didn't do anything remote to an eagle wing.
Let me make this clear.
Eagle wing
Smoking Jim agreed what Nick said would be taunting, and he made up what he thinks would be taunting last night. So we're going to move on, and we're going to go to Fiction and Fact with Smoking Jim's Almanac, and God bless us.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine.
You're welcome.
And we got the VIP of BPTV. I tell you what, one thing I can say, white boys are tough. No matter what the weather, you're gonna wear shorts. You don't get cold.
Yeah, I missed him saying that. He said that last year too. Yeah.
But hey,
Well, he doesn't get cold, and he gets sick though, because we
Yeah.
know that he's been sick.
yeah, I can get sick. I don't get hot, don't get cold. But
So
hey,
he says.
Al Levine, the talking machine. I tell you what, 2 weeks ago, I had the pleasure of meeting the Rhino. You know, former first-round draft choice John Rienstra of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was drafted in the first round in 1986. We struck up a quick conversation that turned into about 2 hours. And
You stole a page out of my book.
yeah, stole a page out of your book. Maybe we can get him be a ring announcer next week. No.
Not at all. You
Okay.
understand. You talk to him.
Okay. But
You
anyhow,
talk to him. I respect him so much, and I talked to him for about 20 minutes after the 58th Pennsylvania Hall of Fame event.
Yeah.
Very nice man.
And I tell you what, very nice man, you know what I mean? Down about 100 pounds from his play days, but he looked great. But I tell you what, I asked him, I said, because he was 3-time NCAA powerlifting champion, and I always felt like you was built for powerlifting. You could have been a great powerlifter. I could have coached you to some world
Well, weren't you a
championship.
power lifter?
Yeah, I was a powerlifter too, but he was a 3-time.
Not a great one. Not a great one.
You just did it, right?
Oh, I won the events. You know,
Which events did you win?
the events that I was in, I was 2-time Mon Valley powerlifting champ.
Did you organize those events yourself?
Almost close. Close. I like to win.
No, you know what happened, Nick? He needed somebody that could have a press release, and he
jeez.
couldn't find
Okay.
anybody.
Okay.
But I asked
Carry on.
because he won the NCAA powerlifting championships 3 times.
Yeah.
So there used to be a guy on the Pittsburgh Steelers team named Terry Deacon Long, because he used to eat rat poisoning and stuff like that. So, and I asked him, was Terry Long, because he was kind of crazy. He was a guy that went from the Marine Corps to college. And I remember they interviewed him. They said, what stops you from killing somebody? He says, jail. So I'm like, who was stronger between you and Terry Long? He said, Terry Long was 1-time NCAA powerlifting champ, only entered 1 contest. He said he beat my record by 200 pounds, which is incredible. And
You understood that.
just a strong human. So he says, I'm the only guy who's been coached by, that don't have a Super Bowl, that's been coached by 3 Super Bowl winning coaches. I'm like, okay, you know, the great Bill Cowher. He said then when I went to Cleveland, the head coach was
Belichick.
Bill Belichick.
Before he was cheating.
Before he was cheating. And he said in college, he was coached by my favorite coach of all time, the genius, Bruce Arians was his coach. So I'm like, oh, yeah, you played in the era where you guys beat Pitt 3 times. He said, yeah, twice while I was there. I said, okay, you played with Boo Palmer, who came in second in the Heisman. And Boo Palmer was such a great running back. He went in the first round to Kansas City, but Kansas City brought in the Nigerian Nightmare as a walk-on.
Wow.
End up pretty much taking his spot. And Boo Palmer said, if I get the kickoff, I'm going to fumble the kickoff. He got the kickoff. Now, he got hit. He didn't fumble on purpose, and he was cut. Never played NFL again. He fumbled the kickoff. Watch what you say, Al Levine, the talking machine.
Wow.
But I didn't know that John Rienstra, because he came out of college, his first year, he was 296. He was built like a bull. He was, from your neck up, you look like Rienstra. Bull neck to bull, right? The next year,
What a compliment, neck up.
The next year, he went down to 255. He was having all kind of problems, stomach issues, because he was suffering through depression is a thing. I know you. I don't know if you believe in depression.
No, I believe
but
in
that's
depression.
We all should believe in depression.
We all should believe in it.
It's real.
Well, some people believe in pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but we all should believe in it. But not everybody believes in it. But they got medication and stuff. I mean, people are more. But back then, I'm saying, Al Levine, the talking machine, they didn't believe like we believe today. But I tell you what.
Well, Smoking Jim, I'll just share this, that some of the ways people were treated back when we were playing football
Hey,
that
that's
had
a-
depression, they'd be in jail now.
Yeah, concussion, depression, they didn't believe in none of that.
And it was real.
And lastly, this goes back to Baby Rienstra. John Rienstra said his best sport in high school, he had no scholarship offers coming out of high school. He said he was going to go to Lehigh because the only scholarship offer he had was for wrestling. He was a great wrestler. So he was going to go to Lehigh and play football. And then at the last minute, Temple, which wasn't a good program at the time, drafted, brought him in. And after his freshman year, he was a defensive lineman. And the genius, Bruce Arians, says, you're now an offensive guard. And the rest is history. He went in the first round, and Bruce Arians turned Temple University.
Imagine that.
So, hey, it was a great conversation, and that's what's on my mind. Rhino.
Thank you, Smoking Jim. We got a lot of good facts.
Very important positions time. All right, so 93.7 The Fan's been talking about lately. There's something thrown around that Andrew McCutchen is a free agent this year and might have interest in signing with the Pirates. I realized at first, even that made me slightly giddy. I was like, ooh, Andrew McCutchen was a good Pittsburgh Pirate. He was the franchise face for a while. And then you think logistically. So I don't know if any of you heard that rumor.
Yeah.
You have, okay. So Al heard about it. You hear about it?
No.
He doesn't have a clue. He doesn't
I
follow
feel like
baseball.
I feel like I'm always teaching you a little bit of something, whenever I do my thing. So
Nick, let me interrupt you. Every time you talk baseball, you're teaching him something he doesn't know.
I'm excited.
No, every time.
I'll
So
give him a
carry on.
baseball fact every week if we can keep his a theme. But McCutchen for now. So
Stay focused.
let's talk about, okay, first of all, Andrew McCutchen, and I talked about this on The Fan. They let me talk about this on Sunday. One of the hosts
I'm glad
did,
to hear you're moving on up.
That's what I'm saying. So it's good stuff. But to highlight some points that I talked about on that show Sunday, the Pirates aren't going to pay him. Andrew McCutchen signed with the Phillies, and when he was asked why he signed in Philadelphia, his response to the question was, "You see what they paid me? It's $50 million over 3 years. Not that anybody's going to pay him that much now, I don't think, but certainly there's a team out there that's going to offer more than the Pirates would." Number two, I think Andrew McCutchen wants to make it far in the playoffs again and at least win a World Series before he goes out, being one of the great players from the 2010s decade. I think he deserves a World Series, so he's going to go for one. And there will be a team out there who has World Series aspirations that could use his veteran talents. But I'll take another point, because if you don't want to talk about money or talk about the Pirates' success immediately, I will say this, something that I've observed about the Pirates as compared to the other sports in the city of Pittsburgh. When the Steelers had their rumor about Odell Beckham Jr. potentially being a receiver on the team, that was seen as a distraction, right? You don't want that storyline to hit the mainstream because it's a distraction from the Steelers winning games. The COVID situation with the Penguins, right? That's considered a distraction. That's something that doesn't have to do directly with playing the sport of hockey, or it doesn't have directly to do with the Penguins' continuing success. But we look at the Pirates differently because the expectations that we have of the Pirates are lower than that of the Penguins and the Steelers. We don't see this Andrew McCutchen news as a distraction because the Pirates aren't good, so you're not distracting from winning. But I will say that it's a bit harmful to have such rumors go out into the mainstream because they're still distracting from the Pirates' ability to move on as a franchise. We want to move on from McCutchen. Even if McCutchen got signed, he'd be taking away reps and taking away money from other potential players, other new players that could come up and create the structure for the Pirates. So while this story might seem lighthearted and silly or nostalgic to people, it's still harmful. It's still a distraction from what the Pirates' goal needs to be. So I know we don't look at the Pirates like that, but it's me telling you here today, McCutchen's not a good idea. Entertaining stories about the Pirates, too, that aren't likely to happen. Also not good for the team because, again, it's not distracting from winning, but you are distracting from the future, building a structure that will eventually create a Pirates winner.
No, you have good opinions, but what I'll tell you is there's a desperation that comes from Pirate fans that they want one little glimmer of hope to be hopeful.
But
that's their little glimmer.
My point is don't give them that hope.
No, but whether it's real or not,
don't give them the
rumors get started in sports like, the next opinion. What's your opinion about this? And that's going to always happen. I understand what you're saying. It makes more sense. But when you come to Pirate fans with what they've been through, not a good deal.
I've heard opinions, too, like, yeah, just deal McCutchen at the deadline for value. And I'm just like, no, that's a terrible idea. Oh, you Pirate fans will understand. Have you been to Pittsburgh before? They will not understand. They will not understand.
Look at
Bad
Josh
idea.
Bell, what they did.
Well, he didn't have as much intrinsic value as they did.
No,
with
but
McCutchen.
I mean, they got rid of him.
But if you bring
had to.
McCutchen back after what he did, and then you're like, oh yeah, Pirate fans will understand if he doesn't do well, we just dump him. No, absolutely not.
Thank you, Nick.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Whoosh.
I just have to share. I had to admire A2 creating that on location for the talking machine. He's all swagged up. Smoking Jim didn't say anything about it. He's swagged up in white. So I don't know if he's right or not, but he's all in white.
From the hat, sweatshirt,
And
sweatpants,
we're real
shoes.
simple on location. It'll be short and sweet. On location, Saturday night, USS Fight Academy, 6 o'clock. Might be 15 fights there. Skeets will be there, and one of his fighters, Jairo, he's known as Chicken, and that's a compliment for a Mexican guy. And he's a great fighter, and he takes on all comers. So come on out there, and we're going to have a great time and limited seating. So check it out, USS Fight Academy. And we're going to come back with some Steeler talk. I got to take a deep breath after the conversation we had.
Pick me.
All
I'll
right.
talk about the
Hey,
Steelers.
first the Steelers won, and I started to reminisce back a few years ago when our defense, we'd have a lead going into the fourth quarter, and my son and I would go, can we hold on to win? About half of the time we did not. And I said to my son, Drew, he goes, what are you thinking? I go, I'm nervous that we can't win this game. And I go, the defense has been playing good. TJ Watt's playing out of his mind, but there's only two guys. The one guy, I don't know, Cam something or other, Smoking Jim hates him, never should have got the money. He's not even playing well. And he intercepted a pass, and TJ Watt sacked 3 times, and did a couple other things. But I was nervous at the end. I don't know. Nick, what do you think?
I was extremely nervous, and I don't know if I like it or not, because it's nice to know that the Steelers might lose, but then they don't lose, but then they might lose, and then they probably lose a game that you expect. It's a love-hate thing.
It's traditional when they're playing teams that they should beat, they lose.
I think I told you guys, I think they're either going to lose to the Bears or they're going to lose to the Lions. I think I said that. Do you remember me saying that?
Well,
It's going to happen to one of them.
If the referees weren't there, they would have lost to the Bears.
I don't think they would have. I still think they would have been able to come back in some way.
No.
When you get the yardage and you can kick the field goal.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, I get different.
They would have been deflated like nobody's business, and the defense was ready to give up a touchdown. Yeah. That's what was happening. You got to face the facts. When you're seeing how does Fields all of a sudden throwing 30, 40, 50-yard passes like it's nothing?
Well, that's another aspect to look at it too. With the Steelers maybe should have lost, but can you blame the refs that much when the Bears only showed up for a half? They only showed up for a half. They played poorly.
It was the right half. It was the right half.
It's better to play better in the second half than the first. But
I got 2 mottos I go by. I'd rather be lucky than good, and if you're going to play well in the last minute.
But the Steelers got lucky. You think about it, better to be lucky than good.
This is
They
why I
got
brought
lucky
it
with
up.
the refs. Who thought that a referee was just going to hip check a player on the other team and instigate a flag? That's pretty much luck on the Steelers side, and I agree with you that the Steeler fans probably would have been angrier than ever had that been against the Steelers.
We've seen it before.
But they're lucky, and they find ways.
That's why I brought it up.
miraculously,
Thanks for running with that theme.
They find ways to just steal games and be lucky.
Now let's try to get the NFL Steeler Scouts' opinion.
Because he's wearing a Yankees hat.
I can't say enough how proud I am of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You said it earlier, so you're staying consistent.
I've been saying all year long that you run Najee Harris till the wheels fall off. Don't save him for the future. The future is now. You got Big Ben. You want to win games. So what he ran 22 times, only 62 yards, 2.8 yards a carry.
Yeah.
But
great stats, buddy. We appreciate it.
Continue to run him. Don't save him for next year. He's a piece of meat like all the athletes are. We're looking
Smoking Jim, do you realize how big he is? What, 6'3", 242?
Lean at 242.
He's not a little guy.
Yeah.
They think he's a finesse runner. He's a bull.
Well, Chicago had him doing a little bit more tiptoeing than he usually do because they was bringing the bricks.
Well, who was blocking?
Yeah, exactly.
When you don't have blockers, how do you run?
But I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine, I can't say enough about the white tight end. This guy's a tremendous weapon. If we can get Claypool healthy, I like it. How in the world do you put number 35 on the NFL team? I mean, he burnt toast. I mean, every time Justin Fields seen this guy, he was going deep over his head.
Well, Smoking, who else do they have?
Well, they got number 42, who's going to be a star in this league. Lamar
But when?
Jackson's
But
cousin.
when?
Yeah, they put him in after the guy got burned a few times, and like I said, they're hurt on punt returns because they got rid of my white guy Saxton, who I thought was special on punt returns. Now
Tony from Chick-fil-A, the race came out.
And now you got a guy fumbling when the game is out of reach to give them an opportunity to get back into the game. But Al Levine, the talking machine, I tell you what, I did not think that the Steelers would be better without Dupree. But Watt is better without Dupree. It's almost like when you have a guy who's the only scorer on the team and he averages 50 points.
Let him.
A lot of the sacks Dupree would be getting. Highsmith is about as useless as you can get out there. I don't know what anybody's seeing. They played 9 games, 8 games, he got 0 sacks. He got a sack and a half in 1 game, and that's it for the year. He's struggling out there. Watt is getting 3 sacks because he got nobody else on the other side beating him to the quarterback.
Right.
And I tell you what, I told you on draft day the guy was going to be a bust. Devin Bush, I mean, if that ain't Deion Sanders playing middle linebacker,
Whoa.
I never know. This guy, the one time I thought he was a referee. They ran up the middle, he's like this. Yeah, you know what? You seen it, Al Levine. Even the announcer said it. And the national guy was like, ooh, that's the first time we heard Bush's name called. It was like 3 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
Al Levine, the talking machine. I said it on draft day. They getting all these guys from Michigan. They can't play. Bush can't play. Wormsley can't play. Taco, unseasoned Taco Charleston can't play.
Wow.
And they got another guy from Michigan that can't play. I can't think of it.
What happened to the Maryland guys that we had?
That's all because Coach Tomlin thanking them because they gave his son a scholarship.
No, but he's on a committee. Smoking Jim, he's on that committee I told you
Yeah.
that helps channel and funnel players to the NFL,
Yeah.
a.k.a. the Steelers.
Yeah, and none of them's any good. And just like his son is the first Division I scholarship athlete who never made an All-Star team because he's a Tomlin. He gets it.
I saw Maryland playing, and I didn't see any Tomlin
You're never
on the
going to
team.
see that. And
I thought of you. I was going to text you. Where's he at?
And Coach Tomlin's brother was a legend down there. Ed Tomlin was a great football player.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, he was team captain.
Is he black?
Yeah, he's
I had to
he's,
check.
He's blacker than Tomlin.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's black.
Thank you.
And don't forget, Tomlin's dad was an All-American. He was an All-American.
I had heard that.
All-American.
Yeah, I'd heard that.
Yeah. So
What happened with Tomlin?
Tomlin was a great player.
Was he?
Tomlin was a great. He never wanted to turn pro. He's kind of like President Obama. It's almost like it looked like he was being. It was almost like they was getting him to the head coaching job because Coach Tomlin was a great wide receiver.
Yeah.
I had him scouted him high. Now, who was better than him at William & Mary that time was Darren Sharpers doing 3 life sentences
Yeah.
in prison. But Darren
That
Sharper was
happens.
great. And that started to split me and Coach Tomlin because Darren Sharper's a good-looking guy. And they all went to college together with Tomlin's wife. And I asked Coach Tomlin one time, how in the world did you get your wife over Darren Sharper? He didn't like that. He don't like when I talk about on KDK radio about his son. I tell you what, he's thin-skinned.
Well,
Don't you think?
and I gotta
Old rabbit ears.
I gotta disclaim this. Smoking Jim says he's friends with them, and I'm friends with them, and I notice a different personality.
Black power.
I don't get it, Smoking Jim, but hey, I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for everybody watching us on Facebook. We appreciate that. And thanks to Nick, we can do this every week. And we finally had TV. We're actually on BP TV the first time in a month. So it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle, but we made it. So I'm glad to hear that. And thanks again to all of you watching our shows, and keep tuning in and keep liking our page and our stuff, and tell other people, and please stay Joey strong.